Hello friends, we are going to make our turkey wing rainbow whisk. And again, we want to make sure we have all of our items together. We have our jerk string, our string for our hanging loop, our 9 yards of twine, our foot brake, and our 8 colors of broomcorn. In addition, remember we need our sharp pair of scissors. We need our lighter and either a sharp knife or a PVC pipe cutter. I'm going to set those tools to the side, and now we're going to make sure our broomcorn is prepped and ready to go. We want to take each bundle and we want to look at it to make sure that all of the broomcorn is turned in the correct direction. I'm going to take that little rubber band off and just put it to the side. And then I'm going to go through the ends of this, and I want to see if I have any pieces like this one that are turned upside down. And then I'm just going to slide it out, turn it the right direction, and that bundle is ready. So I'll set it to the side. And I'm going to do this for each of my bundles. This one's ready to go. So piece in there we go. So this piece right here, I'm probably just going to throw it out. It's really small and flimsy, and it's just sometimes it causes more trouble than good. So I'm just going to get rid of that one. And the rest of it's ready to go. So we're going to do this for all 8 colors. And we want to keep our sections separate. So you'll want to have some type of stool or table nearby. You can lay them in the floor to the side of your chair, but it's a little bit easier to access if it is, again, on either like a stool or a little table. You can do this at your kitchen table. You can do this in your garage. You can do this on your porch, in your living room. That's the awesome thing about broom making, is you can do this really anywhere. You just need a good sturdy seat to sit in, the materials, and a little bit of patience. You're ready to go. All right. Making it through these little stacks here. So pretty. Now the reason that we want to make sure our broomcorn is all turned in the right direction, and see here's you can kind of see the different diameter of the pieces. And when you get those really flimsy little tiny pieces, you can leave them in, but again, I throw them out just because they kind of get in my way a little bit. But if you can see that, it kind of looks like split in on hair. These little pieces at the end of the broomcorn, which we call the sweep, that is what is going to pick up all that dirt and debris and the little pieces of dust. And so that's why we want to make sure all of those are turned in the same direction. It will also make your whisk look prettier if everything is nice and neat and turned in the correct direction. So now we have all 8 of our pieces in order. Then I like to put them in order by the colors of the rainbow. So there are a few extra colors in your kit, like pink and lime green, that are not in the rainbow. But we are going to get them all in the right order. So we have our pink. Then we have red. And I'm going to make kind of like an X, okay? So I'm starting with pink, then I go red, orange, yellow, lime green, dark green. Oh, now you see there, see that piece kind of hanging down? That's another one of those that I want to throw out. And it was connected to some other pieces, so we're going to just throw that out. Then I've got blue. And I have my violet. So now I have all my broomcorn stacked and ready to go. The reason I put it kind of like in this little X is because it's just easy to grab off of the top of each other. They don't get mixed together, and it makes it easier to foot break. So here I have my foot break. It is flat on 2 sides and round on the others. This foot break is made of maple. It is a locally sourced wood here in Southwest Virginia. So you've got a really cool foot break. But you're going to take this and you are going to grab your twine. I pulled mine off of the spool here just because I think it's easier to wrap that way, but you are welcome to leave it on the spool. And I like to tie mine in a knot onto, it's just like you're tying your shoes. You're just going to tie a knot on there. And then you are going to hold the twine in your hand and you're going to wrap it around the spindle or the foot break, whatever you would like to call it. I like to hold the twine in one hand and spin the foot break in the other. And I go down one direction and then I go back up the other direction. And I'm going to do this until all of my twine is wrapped around the foot break. Now I want to leave space on both sides of my twine for my feet to go. I don't want to be stepping on my twine while I'm making my broom. So I only put the twine in the center. And again, we're just going to wrap that all the way around. Wrapping, wrapping, wrapping. The twine and ready to go. We are going to put a knot on the end of this twine. So I like to take I call this the tail of the twine. I'm going to take the end of it, the tail end of it, wrap it around my index finger there, pinch it, slide it off the end. So I've got a little loop. Take the end of that, put it through the loop and pull. This is going to create a little knot. That knot is going to grip inside of your broom so that it doesn't come loose. Okay, so now we're going to take our foot brake, and we want to have it so that our twine is coming over the top towards our body. So it's going to come out this way. We don't want it underneath. We want it on top. Okay, so I'm going to let some of that out, and we're going to put it down at our feet. So now that I have my foot brake at my feet, I also have my twine here, and I have it right now. It's a little bit too high. Okay, I want it to come up to about my belly button. Okay, you want it to come up to about your belly button, because if it's too high, you're going to be pulling up with your shoulders, and that can hurt you. Or you're going to be reaching down too far, and that's going to hurt your lower back. So you want to be sitting up nice and straight in your chair. You want your twine to come to about your belly button, and mine's still just a little bit high. So I'm just going to wrap it back on there. And then I'm going to place my feet on either side of the twine. I'm going to grab my first bundle of broomcorn, which is my pink. And what I want to do is I want to take this and kind of tap it on the end of my leg with the sweep down. And the reason I want to do that, and you might see that there's a piece in there. See that one? I didn't get it turned around. So I'm going to go ahead. Now this one does not have those little like hairs on the end. So I'm just going to throw that one out because it would be kind of scratchy. It's not going to sweep as nicely. So I want my sweep in to be fairly even. This part down here, it doesn't have to be even because we're going to end up trimming that off. So I've got my end here, and I dropped my string, and that's okay. We'll grab it. And the direction that you turn the sweep really doesn't matter. But we want to make sure that when we put and start wrapping our twine, when we put it inside and start wrapping, we want to be wrapping away from the sweep and up the handle. All right, now that we have everything prepped, we are ready to start making our turkey wing rainbow whisk. And this is going to have an open wrap. So we are going to start with that little knot, and we are going to put it into the end of our broomcorn. So we want to start on the sweep end. That's the end with all of those little hairs that, oh, I missed a piece that needed to be turned. That has all those little split end hairs on the end. That's your sweep. We're going to be working away from the sweep. So we're going to go from the sweep end down to the handle end. So we're going to start by putting our knot inside the sweep end, and we're going to go about a hand width. So I put the outside edge of my hand on the end of the broomcorn, and I measure. So that's going to go about right here. So I'm going to take that knot, I'm going to split the broomcorn kind of in the middle there and stick the knot inside. Then I'm going to start wrapping towards my body. Okay, right now I don't have a lot of tension on my string, but we're going to wrap this about 3 times, and then we are going to pull really tight. So when I pull really tight, I want to have my feet pushing down on the foot brake, and I'm pulling up on the broomcorn. Now when you pull up, you want to have it tight enough that it makes this sound. If it does not make that sound, then it is not tight enough. The tension is what is going to hold your broom together. So that part is really important. Okay, you want to get that really tight. And since we've got 3 revolutions around, now we are going to angle our broom corn. And we're going to angle our twine. You can see that it's there. This piece right here is kind of hanging down. I'm going to pull that out because it's just going to get in the way. And I'm going to grab my next bundle of broomcorn, which is the red. And I'm going to kind of tap it on my leg so that my pieces are fairly close together. I'm going to slide it underneath the twine. And I'm going to slide it up so that my broomcorn is about the same here on the sweep end. Okay, so I want that to stay angled. Now, your turkey wing whisk is going to be flat, but you are rotating it in a circular motion, which means it's going to want to twist and go on top of each other and things like that. So you want to keep your hands kind of like a claw, okay, like this. You're going to pinch it with your hands like that as you turn it. And what that's going to do is it's going to keep it nice and flat as you spin towards your body. So now I have like this kind of Z look right there, or it might look like an N. Okay, you've got that. And now that I have that, I want to pull tension again and then continue wrapping. And again, we're going to go about 3 wraps, pulling tension each time, because we want it to be nice and tight. And I can also, at this time, I can adjust to make sure it's staying straight. But I've wrapped 3 times. Now on that 4th time around, that's when I'm going to turn it at an angle. Okay, I'm turning it down at an angle. I'm going to hold that angle with my finger here. I'm going to grab my next bundle of broomcorn. I'm going to tap it on my leg again to get those pieces kind of up about the same. I slide it underneath the twine, slide up. They're roughly in the same area. Now, those pieces right there we can trim later. So I have it at an angle. I'm pinching to keep it flat. And I'm turning and pulling tension. Turning towards my body, pulling tension. And now I've got 3. Now, see, it's starting to twist a little bit. So this is where I'm going to kind of adjust it and make sure it's staying nice and straight. I'm going to pull my tension. And on that 4th time around, that's when I'm going to angle it and hold it with my finger. And I'm going to grab my next bundle of broomcorn, tap it, put it underneath, slide it. I see a piece here that is turned the wrong direction. I'm going to pull that out. I've got those few pieces that are sticking out down there. That's okay. You can try to push them back in. Sometimes they will go, sometimes they won't. If they don't, like that one doesn't want to, it just bends. I'm going to leave it and trim it later. So I've got it angled there, pinching. Gonna let out some of that. And then I'm going to wrap towards my body again, pinching, pulling tension, wrapping towards my body, pulling tension. There was my 3rd time. Now I'm gonna make sure it's twisted and staying right. Going to that 4th wrap, angle, Grab my next bundle of broomcorn. I'm on the green, the lighter green now. Sliding it under, sliding it up. Pulling tension and pinching. Pulling tension, wrapping towards my body. So a lot of broom making is just repetition. Yeah, now I made that angle. Gonna adjust. Grab that next bundle of broomcorn. Tap it. Go underneath. Oh, I got a piece there that didn't want to go. Slide it. Pinch. Start wrapping. Pull that tension. Wrapping. Pulling tension. All while pinching. Got my 3. Make sure it's adjusted. Do that angle. Next bundle. Sliding it underneath. Sliding it up. Pinching and wrapping towards the body, pulling tension. Angle. And this is our last bundle, our purple or violet, if we want to be technical. Slide it under, slide it up. Angle, pinch, wrap. So now that this is our last color, we've wrapped and we're pulling that tension. Now we're just going to continue that same open wrap up the handle. Now you can make this handle as long as you want. You can go all the way up if you want. You just want to make sure that you leave enough down here on the end to kind of trim it off and make it nice and neat. So now I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to angle, pull tension, wrap towards my body 3 times. 1, 2, angle. And I'm going to make this my final angle. Now that I'm at this point, I'm going to make that angle and I'm going to wrap it around. But as I get to this part, instead of continuing to wrap, this is where I'm going to take that shorter string that we're going to use for our hanging loop. We want to take one end and we're going to put it underneath that edge right there. Now I usually turn it on the side and I kind of look at where the center of that is, and that's where I lay that down. And you can always trim this later if you don't want it hanging off of there. So then I'm going to roll towards my body again, and then I'm going to take the other side of it And I'm going to put it on the other part. I'm going to put it kind of in the middle there. Maybe you have to go back and adjust it with like your thumb a little bit. Slide it down. Okay. I'll pull tension really tight. And as you've seen, we wrap 3 times. And when I get to the 3rd time, I'm on the back side of my broom now. And I'm going to take my jerk string. Going to slide it underneath the twine. Sliding it up. And I want to make sure that the knot is towards my sweep end and the loop is towards my handle end. This is really important. We always want to put our jerk string in with the knot towards the part that we have already wrapped. Okay, so we want to put that in there, and we want to pull this part. We want to pull lots of tension here because this is where we are going to be tying off our broom. So every time that I turn, like every half turn, I pull tension at this point. And I'm going to wrap it at least, it needs to be at a minimum of 3 times. But on this one, I do a couple extra. So now I have that pulled really tight. And I'm going to put my thumb over that part of the jerk string because now I'm holding tension with my thumb. Okay? And I'm going to take those sharp scissors that I have and I'm going to cut, making sure that I have my thumb holding that tension. If you do not have your thumb holding the tension right here, your broom is going to unravel. Okay, we don't want all that hard work to go away. So we're holding that tension, our thumb over the jerk string and the twine, and we're going to cut it. Still holding that tension there. I'm taking that tail and I'm going to put it through my jerk string loop, still holding tension. Then I'm going to take that knot, I'm going to stick my finger through that part right there, holding tension still. I'm kind of going to put the broom up to my body and I'm going to pull the jerk string through all the way. So now my jerk string is out. My string is here. I'm going to give it a nice little pull to make sure it's all the way through. Now I can release my thumb and my broom is tied. So now is where I can look at it and I can adjust it if I need to. I'm going to cut this extra piece off here. Just throw it to the side. This is where my lighter comes in handy. I'm going to turn it to the side and I can kind of see where I've cut and it's frayed. So we're going to take the lighter and we are going to kind of burn that and melt it a little bit. Now, this will be hot, so I do not recommend touching it for just a minute or so. So while that is cooling down, this is the point where you could also cut these off if you want to. I don't mind them. I kind of like them on there, so I leave them. But you can cut those and burn them as well. You do want to be careful when you're burning that you don't burn through your twine and snap it. But so now we have our whisk like this. Now it's time to make that nice cool fan, that wing look. So we are going to put it on our knee. We're going to hold, let me see so you can see a little better. We're going to put it on our knee. We're going to hold this end right here and we are going to bend. We're going to bend that. Okay, so now we've got a bend here. We're also going to pull this out a little bit. We don't want to pull it too much because if you pull too far, it'll just stick out wonky like that. So we just want to kind of pull it and fan it a little bit. So now we have all of that. And we're going to take our scissors. Now you can leave it, this is what I call wild. It's wild right now. If you have a piece that's like sticking off like that, I just tear it off. But I'm gonna trim it. It's like giving it a little haircut. I turned it on the other side because sometimes you see little pieces that you couldn't see before. And I trim it down. Now this part right here is a little flatter. You can leave it that way, or if you want to cut more of an angle, you can. The main thing is we don't want to cut too far in because remember we want that sweep part that's going to catch all the dirt and the dust and the grime and all the debris. So now here we are. We are ready to trim our end. So I'm going to show you how to trim this with the knife. And then I'll also show you how to trim one with the PVC pipe cutter. So first, I'm going to show you how to do this with the PVC pipe cutter. Then we're going to go back to a different table in order for me to cut it with a knife. You never want to cut with a knife on your leg. You would think that would be common sense, but that is something I need to tell you. Do not cut on your leg ever. You will want to go to a countertop that you have like a cutting board on, or if you have a workshop or somewhere outdoors where you don't mind the knife kind of gouging whatever it's on, you can use that. But you're going to need a nice sturdy space that you can cut into the handle. So we're going to use our PVC pipe cutter on this part. You open it by pulling it like that, and it is going to go like this. It's going to wrap it down and cut through the broomcorn. So I open that up. I like to turn mine on the back side where I can see my hanging loop because I want to make sure that that is out of the way. This is very sharp. It will cut through the broomcorn. It will cut through the twine. You want to make sure your hands are out of the way. And I hold mine here. Okay, I don't hold it by this and cut because all of this will shoot and fly everywhere, making a huge mess. And if there are people around, it actually can hurt because it shoots out with a little bit of force. So I like to hold it by that end like this. I put my pipe cutter on there and I leave, I don't know, I leave, what is that, maybe like ½ an inch. And then I start cutting through, and you have this left over. You can throw it away, you can do something with it, totally up to you. I typically just throw it away. But now you have your whisk, and you can take your scissors and you can kind of trim off any little pieces that are on the end there, straggling and sticking up, not even. beautiful rainbow turkey wing whisk. Great job. All right, so I have showed you how to cut the end of your turkey wing whisk with a PVC pipe cutter. Now I want to show you how to cut it with a sharp knife. You want to make sure you are standing at your either like countertop with a wood block, like a wood cutting block, or a cutting board underneath. I have also used large stumps. I've used my porch. You just want something that you don't mind getting, obviously, what you're cutting on. You want to make sure all of your digits are out of the way. You want to make sure your hanging loop is out of the way. So I like to hold it and press down, and then I'm going to be pushing with the knife. I have seen people use a serrated knife where they actually kind of like use a sawing motion through, but I like to push. So you're going to have to use quite a bit of pressure as you push and cut through, and you're going to kind of turn it as you push through those pieces. It is going to take some, what people call it around here, elbow grease. And you're just going to keep kind of turning it as you cut through. At a certain point, I like to set my knife down and push this out of the way. It just gets in the way. And you just keep turning and pushing through. And now I have the end of that cut. Great job. You have a turkey wing whisk. And now you can use it to sweep.